World are you going live at this hour for, Professor Nez? What in the world is going on? Welcome, and I'll tell you all about it. Welcome to Nez Nation Live, the Personal Branding 101 podcast. It is I, your personal branding coach, keynote speaker, LinkedIn consultant, business owner, and business communications professor, coming at you live earlier than our normally scheduled program. And I'm going to tell you just in a second why that is. Just please come on in. I want to see you. See you. Come on in. Welcome, Instagram. Let me know how it's coming on that front over there. I see Sarasota Experience. Lenny, good to see you. Today I wanted to talk about, I did a lot of research before today's show. Successful content creators focus on these 4 crucial strategies for content creation success. I kind of distilled a lot of research, my own experience, and, I've been getting your emails, I've been getting your messages. Nez Nation, it is so awesome to see you guys. And I've distilled kind of it down to 4, and there's probably more than 4, but 4, I think, crucial fundamental strategies that I think will help you, and I think will help you guys to maybe even shift your mindset around what it means to be a successful content creator and what successful content creation means to me. So I'm very, very excited. If you are a content creator, if you are an individual, if you are a business, if you are a brand, I think you're going to get a volcano of value from this show. So come on in. Let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know where you're watching from. We're going to get right down to it, and I'll tell you a little bit why I have decided to go live earlier. We usually go live. Most of you guys know this, but we usually go live at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Well, my son's got a baseball game today. It's a makeup baseball game. We've been having a lot of rain in Southern California, and a lot of his baseball games have been canceled. So today is a makeup game, and it's right around the time that we usually go live. And as you guys know, daddy duty always comes first. Not always, but yeah, for the most part, as it should. And I have to go live a little bit earlier than expected. So come on in. Make sure you smash the smash button. Welcome. Hey, Beth, it's good to see you. Car Galaxy Studios, how are you? Single to Taken TV, it's great to see you. Prashant, overseas in the UK from London. Luis, how are you? It's great to see you guys. Come on in. Please share this out on Twitter. Share this out on Facebook. If you are a content creator, if you know somebody who's a content creator, maybe you know somebody who you think should be a content creator, you might want to share this out on Twitter. I would really, really appreciate it. We are live. We're doing a quadcast. And as a matter of fact, I'm just going to double check to make sure that we're live everywhere. We're live on Twitch, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Periscope. If I just want to remind people, if you're watching us on Periscope or Twitch or Instagram, I'm focusing on the chat. If you want to be a part of the chat, you can watch everywhere. And I know those of you who are listening on the podcast as well, I want you to come join our amazing, invigorating live stream chat. So in order to do that, you got to go to youtube.com/Professor Nez. That is kind of the hub, the headquarters of these live streams. And those of you listening on the podcast and on the other platforms, I would love for you to join us over at youtube.com/Professor Nez. This is where I'm focusing on the chat. And we have an amazing, amazing Nez Nation family full of coaches, trainers, educators, business owners, professionals, you name it, live streamers, unbelievable content creators. And I would love for you guys to come join us on the chat. So please do that. That should just be a real quick flippity flip on your phone or on your laptop. Just open up YouTube, go and even in the search bar, just put in Professor Nez and my channel will come up and the live stream should show up. It's great to see you guys. Another thing too, I don't know if you guys know this, But we are officially sponsored by Beyond the Box Academy. If you're wondering what BeyondTheBoxAcademy.com is, this is the #1 online training academy. We've got unbelievable courses. Our flagship course, Personal Branding 101, How to Make Money with Your Personal Brand. We've also got courses in mindset mastery. We've got courses in job search and writing and communications, and way more to come. I want you all to go to Instagram. I was thinking Instagram because we have a new course on Instagram marketing. I want you to go to BeyondTheBoxAcademy.com, and this is our continuous sponsor of our show, and we're very, very proud of that. And, you know, obviously that's my academy, and I'm bringing over 29 years of being a business communication professor, being in retail, being in business, being in sales, being in public speaking, all of my experience distilled into this one academy. And so BeyondTheBoxAcademy.com, if you're interested in MOA, if you're interested in more from Professor Nez, definitely go check that out. You will not be disappointed. Hey, it's good to see you, Eric, Modern Day Tech. How are you, sir? Flippity flip. Great to see you. Luis says the 3 C's: consistency, creative, control. You see how awesome our Nez Nation audience is? I absolutely love it. Yes, you are absolutely right, Luis. You know, before I jump into, and I know a lot of you guys are kind of shocked, like, why is he going live so early? You know, before I really jump into it, I want to just kind of, you know, it's interesting. I peruse a lot. I research a lot before these live streams because I want to bring you guys the best that I can possibly bring. So I do a lot of researching. I do a lot of digging, a lot of analysis. I try really, really hard to find the best information and then match that information with my own personal experience. This channel is all about mindset and messaging. Really, that's what it is. It's about simplifying your message so you can impact your audience. Our continuous mantra or motto in this Nez Nation family, in this live stream, in this great community, is bringing more humanness to this digitalness, which is really tantamount to your success as a content creator, as your success as a business owner, your success as a professional, your success as a mother, a father, an amazing friend, whatever it is. I think bringing that humanness to the game, it's something I'm really, really proud of with our awesome Nez Nation family. And so, you know, Luis, I so appreciate, and I appreciate all your guys' input, because I think we're going to get a real lively chat with this live stream show, because you know, the 3 C's and all of these sort of content creator success, you know, articles and videos and tutorials, and I'm sure there's even major courses on this topic. You know, I'm starting to see some patterns, and I'm starting to see some kind of repetition out there, and I wanted to kind of go somewhere a little bit different, but not that different. I mean, a lot of this stuff I think you're going to find is just, as I always say on my channel, I'm just a healthy reminder. I never try to say that Professor Nez is original or even special. I just know that these things work, and they work for me, and you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. And so I'm really intrigued by this, and I hope that you guys get a lot out of this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I would really, really appreciate it. Also, just in case you did not know this, Charlie Dog's in the house. How you doing, Charlie Dog? Yes, I'm very early today. I'm very early because my son's got a makeup baseball game today, so I know I'm early, and but I couldn't. I was actually thinking of maybe postponing the stream, but I couldn't do that. I can't do it. And maybe this is something I could start with, just to kind of talk about this, Charlie. It's good to see you. When you're a content creator, when you're somebody who has the urge, the desire to create, when you have that compulsion running in your DNA, running through your bones, this may be a good kind of litmus test if you're a content creator or somebody who's just a creator, period. Forget about content. It starts with the creation aspect of it. And I think all creators have this in common, whether you're an artist, whether you're a writer, whether you're a painter, whether you're a musician, whether you're a filmmaker, it doesn't matter. I think all creators have this one thing in common, is that they absolutely need to create. It's an obsession. It's a biological need. It's a necessity to create. And content creation can be an unbelievable outlet for that. I know that there's no greater feeling than producing a new video. There's no greater feeling than uploading a new video, than publishing a new article, than getting a new podcast up and running. It's one of the greatest feelings I have. And then when I get your responses, when I get people who are actually interested, who actually click the subscribe button, hint, 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 who actually click the smash button or smash the smash button, hint, 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 I get even more elated. I get even more blown away. I'm just completely flabbergasted and floored and appreciative and extremely grateful that people are getting something out of the stuff that I create. I mean, that means everything to me. Hey, Neil, it's good to see you. Crypto Cruising is in the house. Golden Pay Dirt Reviews, good to see you. Think YouTube is over their heads. Yeah, I don't know about these 8-hour live streams and 10-hour, the Nimmons and the Vipes. Yeah, I can't do that. You know, I'm a family man, and I'm old, man. I can't be doing that stuff. I got too many obligations. I got a business, I got students, I got academy, I've got family, I got a wife who's absolutely gorgeous and demands a lot, as rightly she should. I got kids, so it's very, very difficult to do 8-hour streams. As a matter of fact, I don't know how long this stream is going to be. This stream might be even shorter than most. And so, I try to do the best I can to make these as powerful and as effective and valuable as possible, but yet there are constraints. And I don't know how some of these dudes and dudettes do these 9-hour, 10-hour streams. I'm floored by that. I'm totally in awe of that. So, yeah, that's fantastic. The compulsion to create, the urge to create. Have you identified this? Is this something that you yourself have? Let me know in the chat. How many of you, exactly what I just said about content creation and just the very act or nature of creation, how many people can relate to that in the chat? How many people can relate to that feeling of, it could take all sorts of outlets. I've done music before. I've written 7 books before. I've done musical scores for independent films. I used to sing and play in groups. And none of these were like really outlandishly huge or anything like that. And I'm not even worried about that. But this idea of having this be an amazing outlet as well. If you're a creator, and I've used this kind of, in a satirical way, but actually it's pretty real. If you get itchy and scratchy and you get real feverish and you're like, man, something's not right here. I'm just not feeling good. I got to create. Then I think that's a good litmus test that you're meant to be a creator. Does that mean that you shouldn't create content if you don't have that? Of course not. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but I'd love your guys' thoughts. I'd love your guys' ideas. Does that make sense? Car Galaxy says, here. Oh, thank you so much, Beth. I appreciate that. Beth said, hey, Brad Friedman is in the house. Good to see you, Brad. How are you? It is fantastic to see you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I know, 8 hours. That's insanity. I can't even think about that. Modern Day Tech says, I think about creating 24/7. I wake up thinking creation. Yeah, that's another thing too, is like, I'm always thinking like, I get like I just did a video recently. Maybe you guys can relate to this. I had a student, literally it came straight from my audience. And I don't even think this is mentioned. I got my little kind of bullet points here that I always kind of have before my streams. This might have something to do with it. Before I jump into the 4 crucial strategies that I think is based on distilling a lot of research and a lot of analysis from other amazing content creators, and plus my own kind of take on this, distilling that. I just released a video not that long ago about how to handle change. And literally this video, by the way, did you see that video? I thought it was a pretty cool video. It was more kind of external, out in the environment, out in the elements. I think class had ended, class had ended. I was teaching a creative nonfiction course that day, and class had ended, and a student came up to me and talked to me. And she was talking about an assignment that she, was having problems with. And we kind of got to talking, and she, we just, I'm very open. I try to be very, very accessible to my students. And she started talking about some things that were going on in her life. And she asked me, she said, Nez, I don't, she's going through some changes. She's going through some transitions in her life. And she asked me just point blank, how do you handle change? And bing, when you're a content creator, right? When you're a creator, and I literally gave her the answer that I gave in that video. I literally almost verbatim gave her the exact answer that I published in that video recently on how to handle change. And, this is another maybe sign that you're meant to be a content creator, because you start really seeing opportunities. You start to really, your senses, the way that you view the world, the way that you experience the world is sort of done through the lens of content creation and through the lens of, is this something that I can produce? Is this something that I can, we're as content creators, and I'd like to hear in the chat right now, let me know in the chat. And if you're listening to this on the podcast or watching this elsewhere, I'd love to hear from you. Send me your comments, leave comments down below. If you're watching this on the replay, we're constantly starving for ideas. We're constantly hungry for ideas that we can put into our podcast, into our live stream, into our videos, into our art. There is an art to this. There is an art and science to this. Let me know in the chat. Do you relate to that? That most content creators, we're hungry. We're on the prowl for content ideas. We're out there, out and about, just constantly kind of purveying and surveying and scoping and seeing where are the ideas? Where are they coming from? And also let me know, by the way, what's the number one source for where you get your ideas for your content? I would love to know from you. I mean, we got an amazing Nez Nation family here. Hybrid Steel's in the house. Let me know, where do you get your ideas from? First, do you relate to what I just said? And then where do you get your ideas from primarily? Golden Pay Dirt says, I've been waiting 8 months plus in review. Too many creators, too little manpower. Yeah. Let's see here. Car Galaxy says, ideas. So good to see you, Car Galaxy Studios. Great channel. Ideas always come. It's the motivation and execution that's usually the issue. But man, it feels great to get something accomplished. Yeah, and why is that? Examine that. Look into that. Because if creating content is not easy, creating content is extremely difficult. It's extremely hard. And it will be a million times harder and a million times more difficult if you don't enjoy the process, if you don't get that exhilaration from accomplishing a piece of content, from producing a piece of content. And that may be something that you need to really examine for yourself. You need to really ask yourself this. And I think that's number one. As a matter of fact, let me jump into that really quickly. Number one is identify why you're doing it. So most successful content creators, they know why they're creating the content. They've identified this. Aristotle calls this self-awareness. Aristotle calls this knowing thyself. Who are you? Do you understand that? The kind of premise of this channel is to discover your purpose, communicate your message so you can impact your audience. Simplifying your message so that you can reach the right audience. And I'm going to talk about audience. You know audience is coming. Holy macadamia nut. You've got to know that audience is a big part of this, right? And so I'm going to talk about that very briefly. But yeah, I think that's interesting, Galaxy. Identify that. Why are you doing this? What is the purpose of you creating content? Are you trying to advance your career? Are you trying to become a thought leader? Do you even know what a thought leader is? Are you trying to grow your business? Are you trying to build your personal brand? Are you doing it just for views and subscribers? What is the purpose of views and subscribers? What is the What is the end that justifies the means? These are important questions to ask yourself. It's a rigorous process creating content. The editing, especially if you're a YouTuber, or you do video content and live streaming. I mean, I really spend a lot of time trying to make sure that these live streams, nothing I do is very haphazard, except for Midnight Nez. Midnight Nez might be the only thing that I do that's haphazard or kind of, strictly spontaneous. And if you don't know what Midnight Nez is, go check out my channel. I've got some live stream episodes where it's just me going live talking to y'all. It's really just us hanging out together, having a chat, and me talking about some things that are on my mind in the moment. And we've actually had some really good times, a lot of fun. I really dig Midnight Nez. I want to try and do that more. Let me know in the chat if you dig Midnight Nez and you want to see more of that. And it's not really technically midnight. I call it midnight because I'm usually up way past my bedtime hour. Let's see here. Community is a great source of ideas. Absolutely. Brad says, I relate to that. I am starving for content ideas. Yeah. And, a great way to get ideas, this is one of the places that I use to get great ideas is, how many of you have heard of Feedly.com? If you go to Feedly.com, Feedly is a great aggregate of basically a database of all the articles, publications, even video content on the internet. Mostly it's published articles, and you can customize your Feedly kind of content or your Feedly resources based on your niche. So if you're a cooking creator or you're a content creator in accounting, maybe finance is your premise, or maybe your content strategy is gaming or what have you. There's a lot of gamers here in the chat, or automobiles, right? You're in the automobile niche, or you're in the passive income niche, or you're the online marketing niche. You can customize your Feedly source to aggregate all sorts of articles, all the publications on the internet that are geared around that specific niche. And this is what I do. You can read a lot of these articles, check out a lot of these articles, and see what other people are talking about, see what's trending, see what's big, and you kind of get content ideas, and you kind of want to see what they're doing and see how you could create something better, or you can create something unique that has your authenticity, that has your take on it, your perspective. This is huge, and it goes back to the number one thing: identify why you're doing this. Why are you doing it is very important. You need to really kind of focus on what is the end, because this is not an easy thing, and I don't want you to waste your time. Figure out why you're creating content. Figure out what is the purpose, what is the strategy, what is the end that you want, what is the result that you're hoping for by creating content. That's really, really important. And then, you need to absolutely bring your 1,000,000,000% perspective on this. I see a lot of content creators do this. They try to be somebody who's successful. They try to be somebody else. They try to be this person. They try to be that person. They're doing it this way, so I guess I have to do it that way too. No, that person is already taken. There's already a Gary V. There's already a, Amy Porterfield. There's already a Brendan Bouchard. What are you going to bring to the table? What is your take? What is your vision? What is your unique perspective on the topic? And have the audacity to go all in on you. This is not bumper sticker. This is not, happy schmappy. This is not like, let's all hug each other and love each other, kumbaya. No, I mean, it takes a lot of courage. I mean, look at what Car Galaxy was talking about. Execution. Execution's the difficult part. I would say coming up with ideas for content can be quite difficult as well. But execution, right? I mean, the energy, the focus, the inspiration. Most creators, I think most amateur creators, I would say, they depend wholly on inspiration. Now, I'm not saying professional creators don't, depend on inspiration. Absolutely, they depend on inspiration. But they show up to work so that inspiration may come. You have to show up. You've got to show up to work. It is work, but it's beautiful work. It's the best work. It's the awesome, fruitful work. And so, you know, those are really, really important things to consider. Car Galaxy says, I think it comes down to just being an artist. Is it midnight for you or for UK? No, I don't even know where the midnight thing came from. I'm not really even sure. Hybrid. I think the midnight thing just came from. I think it just had a nice sound to it. Maybe the first one I did. I think maybe the first one I did. I've done about 5 or 6 of the Midnight Nez's, I think. I think I just like the hashtag. I think I like the hashtag Midnight Nez. And I think that it was just, you know, I think maybe the first one might have been at that hour, and it just kind of sounds better than Real Talk. I'm going to do Real Talk with Professor Nez. It's Real Talk time. I mean, that's just so overdone, a Real Talk. What other kind of talk is there? Actually, I'm going to start a new show called Fraudulent Talk. That's my idea right there. Forget Real Talk. It's Fraudulent Talk with your favorite fraud, Professor Nez. That would be a big hit, I bet. I should do that. Why do you have to say Real Talk? You don't have to say Real Talk. What other kind of? What's the alternative to Real Talk? What else are you trying to say there? Modern Day Tech says, I don't need more ideas. I need more time and more knowledge on how to execute them better and faster. That is an entire stream in of itself, Eric. And I love the way you said that. How to create content that still has quality, but faster and better. Yeah, fast is important. I think fast is important. And I would say the first thing that comes to mind, and I'm just kind of spitballing here, I'd like to do a little bit more contemplation on this. But I would say, Eric, and this is great. I love this. Successful content creators. This is fantastic. You know, I love where we're headed with this chat. And I love the chat's on fire right now. Come on over to youtube.com/Professor Nez, especially if you're listening on another platform or if you're listening on the podcast. You've got to come become a part of this awesome Nez Nation family, Creator Chaos family, Flash fam, Niminati family of live streamers. It's a beautiful community. You got to come check us out. I would say, Eric, in order to be faster at execution, I think there should be less analysis or overthinking. I think most people, they overthink their content instead of just making it simple and clear. They overthink the tech. They overthink everything. And I'm guilty of this too. I'm not saying I'm immune to this. We all do this. I think it starts there. Now, there's streamlined processes. There's ways in which you can kind of fast track things. I think if you have the means to do it, you should maybe think about hiring editors or having an outsource in some sense. Now, most of us, we may not have that kind of capacity, but you may have some friends. You may have somebody you know who's a really good editor, or you may have somebody you know who's a really good copywriter, or you may have somebody you know who has an amazing voice, who could do a cool voiceover for your podcast. I wonder who I'm talking to here. Hint, hint. I know I need to send you a script, but I probably don't even need to send you a script, Neil. So I think a lot of that has to do with, and where do you get your ideas, Eric? I'd love to know where you get your ideas. Louise says value is important at the end of the day. Absolutely. I absolutely believe that. Prashant says, I want to help men to ensure they are capable of finding that special someone. I feel that is my mission and want to share this across the world. Okay, Prashant, that is phenomenal. That right there fully encapsulates what I'm talking about identifying what it is and why it is that you're creating content. And I want to just piggyback on that for a moment. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that, Prashant. That's beautiful. I, too, understand when you feel like you're on a mission. I know this is going to sound like a broken record. Patty Broussard. How are you, Patty Broussard? It's good to see you. Come on in, Patty Broussard. Gerald Wade 779er. What's up, man? How are you? Good to see you. You finally went live at the right time. Is this the right time? You know, I asked this question long ago. I said 1 or 2 p.m. Pacific. And overwhelmingly, we got 2 p.m. Pacific time. If you guys like 1 p.m. Pacific better, and I'm going live early just to kind of, not to sound like a broken record, but somebody put this in the chat. Luis, put this in the chat that I'm going live early because I got a baseball game for my son to go to. It's a very important reason why I went live early. I, too, know what it feels like to be on a mission. As a creator, when people reached out to me, when I was inspired by people being 1,000,000,000% who they are and spitting truth, I mean, just truth droplets falling out of their mouth, and they landed like grenades inside my chest. It was the greatest feeling ever. When I went through debilitating anxiety and depression from ages 18 to 29, and I finally met unbelievable creators and unbelievable inspirers and unbelievable mothers and fathers that weren't my blood, who helped me, who assisted me, I vowed from that day that I'm going to pass on whatever I get and whatever I can do to help others. And as you get older, I know my old peeps in the chat can relate to this. There is no greater feeling on earth as a human being than serving others. If you're 19, 22, 23 listening to this, you're going to think I'm completely full of shite. And yes, that's totally fine. I totally respect that, and you have every right to think that way. You're actually hardwired at such a young age. You're hardwired. This is all neuroscientific. Look all this stuff up. Don't take my word for it. You're actually hardwired as a young person to be really predominantly selfish. But as you get older, okay, I'm almost 43 years old. As you get older, okay, something happens. And maybe this happens to everybody. I don't know if it happens to everybody. It's happened to me. And so, Prashant, that is a beautiful example of identifying, number one, the first kind of crucial strategy for content creation success, identifying that mission. It can't just be for money. It can't just be for notoriety. It can't just be for fame, because you're not going to get famous. Okay, there's no such, I mean, that kind of fame is so far and few in between. It's so kind of rare. If you believe all the stuff you're reading in the papers, if you believe all the stuff that you're in the papers, who reads the paper anymore? If you believe all the stuff that you see here and, is trending or whatever, these YouTubers making $14 million a year, these influencers on Instagram, I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's far few in between. And if that's what you're after, that's a tough road to tackle. By all means, if you feel invigorated from a mission standpoint, go all in. I just don't, I really like to keep things very pragmatic and very anchored in reality. And so I'm not worried about that. But if you have a mission like that, that's going to get you through the dark times, because the dark times are there. The dark times exist. Being a creator is, it's an absolute tornado of emotions and thoughts and feelings and complexities that can afflict you. There's tons of ups and downs. It's a very bipolar existence, as a matter of fact. Some days you feel like the greatest thing on earth. Some days you feel like you really knocked it out of the park. Other days you feel like, I never want to hit that live button again. I never want to push that record button again. I never want to hit that publish button again. It's a very complex thing getting into the mind of a creator. And I'm not whining here. Who cares, right? But I'm saying it's not something to, stifle you, but it's something to be aware of. And I think that when you have that sort of mission statement or mission orientation, you're going to get through those dark times. And the dark times are going to be inevitable. You can't avoid the dark times. As a matter of fact, the nobility is in the darkness. There's nobility in that suffering. That suffering is going to make you an amazing content creator. More importantly, an amazing human being. So that was number one. And I think, Prashant, you did a great job of identifying that beautifully. Who's ready for number two? Who's ready for number dos? By the way, have you smashed? Have you smashed the smash button? I see a lot more viewers and a lot less smashes. Make sure you smash as you come on in. Let's see here. Beth says, I've been getting no help and I can only do 2 or 3 hours a day before my back gives out. Sorry to hear that, Beth. Prashant says, I find coming from a place of giving And having that attitude is a better approach, and the right people resonate with you, and them paying you for their services is a byproduct. Prashant, beautifully said. How many times do I have to tell you guys that we've got the greatest audience on planet Earth? How many times do I have to, and look, do I have 1,000 concurrent live viewers like Kim Kardashian or not even Kim Kardashian? Let's not even go like that. Do I have 300, 500 concurrent viewers? Do I have 600,000 subscribers on YouTube? No. And I'm going to get to audience really quickly. As a matter of fact, I think audience, this is not in any kind of specific order, but maybe I'll talk about that right now. Maybe I'll make number 2 that. This is beautifully said, Prashant. Absolutely beautifully said. It's a byproduct. And I think if you identify, I want to go back to money, because I know money is important. Okay, I'm a family man. I got kids, and if you got kids, you know how expensive kids can be. I've got a wife. I got a mortgage. It is not cheap. It is not easy. It ain't easy bringing this to y'all, right? But here's the thing: if you identify your mission statement, if you identify that service and that ability to serve others, and if that is your epicenter of why you're doing this, if that is your focus, watch what happens. As a matter of fact, the less you focus on selling, or if you do selling through branding, which is what all of this is, right? Content creation is an indirect way. It's a more real way. It's a more human way of selling, as a matter of fact, because there's nothing wrong with selling. It's just the way that you're doing it. The way that you're selling it is not good. Okay, I have a YouTube video right now on my channel that I use as a CRM tool, and it has garnered me over 6 figures, okay, in sales. Over 6 figures in sales for my consulting agency, Professor Nez Consulting LLC. Do I have 300,000 subscribers? Do I have 1 million subscribers? No. It's not about that. I'm not even selling particularly on this video. I'm explaining, I'm telling people my story. I might do some videos on sales. Let me know if you're interested in that, listening on the podcast or watching this on the replay. Let me know in the comments. Would you be interested? Because here's the thing. There's such a misperception when it comes to selling. A true salesman never sells. Okay, we have this negative connotation. We use selling as a pejorative. It's not a pejorative. A true salesman never sells, never tries to force the buyer or force their audience or force their community to do anything. A true salesman does one thing and one thing predominantly well. They tell their story effectively and clearly. The video that I use as a CRM tool, it 3-dimensionalizes who I am. It gives people a taste of what I can do. It's just me telling my story. It's just me being human. Yes, all of these things I'm talking about can make you money. Yes, all of the ways in which you create content, if you identify these strategies, if you execute these strategies, they can make you a gob of money without the so-called quote-unquote fame, or without the virality that it seems that we see, or growth that we keep on seeing and seeing over and over again, predominantly in our mainstream media and even in our social media. So this is really good stuff, what we're talking about here. And you can do a lot of different things by identifying that. And so audience, let's just go right into it. I want to talk about audience, the number 2 thing that you should identify. And I have here in my notes, quality over quantity. Define success accurately. What does success mean to you? And I'd love to hear in the chat. You know what? I'm just going to throw this out there for the chat. Those of you watching on the replay, please leave a comment. What does success as a content creator mean to you? I'd love to get your point on this. I'd love to get your point of view on this. Lenny says, been listening on Instagram. Always a great live stream. Hello to everyone. Lenny, it's fantastic to see you. Sarasota Experience. What does success, how do you define success? Is it views? Is it subscribers? Is it clients? Is it sales? Is it popularity? Is it notoriety? How would you define success? I put quality over quantity, and I want to talk about that, and I'll get a little bit more elaborate on that. But I'd love to get some feedback here in the chat. This is a live stream, by the way. I mean, after all, we are live streaming. We are live right now. If you're listening and watching on the replay, I would love for you to leave your comments down below. But how would you define success? This is a really important thing. I mean, why are you creating content, identifying your mission statement, and then really coming up with a, maybe not, I was going to say a conclusive kind of framework for what you think of success. It doesn't have to be conclusive, but just a notion. What is your notion of success as a content creator? How would you define success as a content creator? I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you in the chat. Let me know. Neil says, I measure success by the amount of friends that would pick up the phone to you at 4 a.m. Yeah, that's really cool, Neil. I like that. That's great. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. It's people. It's community I'm gathering. Huh, Neil? That's beautiful. I love that. I'm so appreciative of you, Neil. That to me equates to, it's really something that you're embodying right there, Crypto, is bringing that humanness to this digitalness. I think too many of us are focused on the digitalness as opposed to the humanness. Yeah. And what does that mean to you? Why would they pick up the phone at 4 a.m.? What is it about you that they would pick up the phone at 4 a.m.? I mean, dude, I'm sleeping, bro. What do you want from me? Don't call me at 4 a.m., bro. I'm sleeping. I'm just teasing. Prashant says, getting positive feedback and them applying your material gets results. So meaning making it about them and honing in on their pain points and frustrations. That's a great answer. I mean, that's a sort of, I would say that's an answer that I get a lot, is this sort of idea of pain points and frustrations. And I'm not picking on you here, Prashant. But why? Why is that success? What does that do for you as success? Carr says, interesting because YouTube is a social platform as well as many things to many people. Yes. Yes, that's true. Hybrid says, success for me is to just enjoy what I do. The process. Enjoying your content. Enjoying putting it all together. I love it. I love staying up at 2, 3 in the morning sometimes and editing a video. I love working on an article, falling asleep on my laptop. A lot of people wouldn't enjoy that. A lot of people would look at that as, dude, what's wrong with you? I love that. The process is important. Absolutely. Luis says, I measure success by teaching what I'm learning. Fantastic. That's great. I don't see anybody talk about views or subscribers or the amount of likes I get on Instagram. This is really interesting. I'm not seeing a lot of comments talk about that. Beth says, let's see here. Carr says, even down to teaching a viewer something and getting a response is success. Yeah, that's very cool. This is really what I'd like to call self-care. This is really what I'd like to call, it is about the audience. It is about them. It is about service. But again, it's also internal. It's about your inner game. It's about identifying internally what makes you tick. When I say mindset and messaging, when I say discovering your purpose, if you discover that, that's your golden ticket, y'all. That's better than the golden ticket at the Wonka factory. It's better than having $1 billion in your bank. And believe me, I'm caveating that by saying money is extremely important. I don't think we shouldn't dismiss that. Yes, money is important, but how you go about it needs to come from that sort of inner sort of fortress that is invincible to your cause. It has to come from somewhere. I believe, just my experience and what I've kind of gathered from my observations, from my research, and how I function as a creator. Beth says, I think successful channels are the ones that have an active community, loyal subs that would miss the content if it went away. Interesting. Very beautifully said. Hybrid says, as long as my family has a roof, food and drink on the shelves, I'm happy. Yes. Lenny says, having your pages on all platforms Separate you from the competition. Customers feel like they have worked with you before. They personally meet you because of watching you on video. It's so powerful. Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time. Video is definitely three-dimensionalizes who you are. And if you're not incorporating video in some type, shape, or form for your content creation strategy, I think you're missing out on a beautiful way to reach the people that you want to reach, right? So yeah, so this is great. We're getting a lot of fantastic answers. I love this. Charlie says, I stayed up to 2:30 when I got home to edit and upload a video from an event. Yes. And it's that feverishness, right, Charlie? It's that obsession. It's that I want to get this done. I want to get this out there. I want to finish this. I want people to see this. I want people to enjoy this. I want people to get something out of this. That is electrifying, is it not? Prashant says, I feel that makes me feel my audience is getting value out of what I'm putting out there. When they're happy, when I see them grow and helping them overcome limiting beliefs, that is inspiring. Yes, yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Luis says the reason people are not talking about views and likes because we are a much wiser audience. Well, duh. That goes without saying that the Nez Nation audience is an extremely wiser audience. Yeah, I mean, this is beautiful stuff that I'm hearing in the chat. Is I have a lot of clients and I listen to you guys a lot. I listen to my audience a lot. I also listen to the landscape a lot. I listen to, what's happening out there, and growth, more seem to be the dominant themes. I listened to a very interesting podcast not that long ago about a guy, I think his name's Jarvis, who wrote a book called Company of One. And he talks about how, he understood when enough was enough. And he understood that he didn't need to grow as what we traditionally think of growing as a business, which is more. But he was able to, what he considered success was being able to do what he wanted to do, having the freedom to dictate his schedule, his plan, his day, his life, about how he wanted to do it, and doing something that didn't make him go crazy. He defined success that way, which I think is just fantastic. I think that's a beautiful reason to do it. And so when I say quality over quantity, that's not false modesty. Do I want 7 billion subscribers? Hell to the yeah, of course I do. And of course I love, do I get a little pang? Does it hurt when I lose 40 Instagram followers, or when I lose a couple subscribers during a YouTube binge or a purge? Of course I do. But at the same time, I very much so am anchored and tethered by this mission, okay, that it's not about, and this understanding, this focus, it's not about more. It's about identifying what I want to do. I want to help people clarify their message and get themselves out of their own way so they can impact their audience. And I'm doing that beautifully. And I'm able to take care of my family, Charlie and Hybrid, as you guys mentioned that. I'm able to provide. I make money. I make money outside of a lot of this. I don't monetize my audience as much as maybe other content creators do. I don't have anything against monetizing your audience, but I don't have that necessity or that need to monetize my audience, because you can smell that stuff cooking. And again, even if you do have the need to monetize your audience, how are you executing that, and what are your expectations? And are you constantly focused on more and more? If you are, I wouldn't blame you if you are, because we're living in a society where more is pounded into our brain everywhere we look. Even working at the universities, they're pounding this into the business and economics students. That, when you start up a business, the key metric or the key goal of that business is to grow, and then sell it to Amazon, right? Or sell it to some large holding company. And that's considered a success. Well, what this individual was talking about, the author of, and I can't remember his name, but what he was talking about is that he identified that maybe this is something that we're perpetuating, which is just not true for everyone. Not that there's anything wrong with growth, but he was happy with the clients that he had. He was happy with the business metrics that were sustaining him, sustaining his life, and sustaining something even more important, his freedom to dictate his life on his own terms. identify and really define what is success to you, because so many of you guys quit. I get these emails, I get these messages all the time in the DMs. You know, I'm not getting enough subscribers, I'm not getting enough followers, I'm not getting enough likes, I'm not getting enough shares, I'm not getting enough comments. And you equate that with success. You equate that with failure. That's not it. That's not what it's about. It's about the right kind of audience. It's about the right kind of viewer. It's about the right kind of engager. It's about the right kind of share. Some of these people who share your content, you might not want them to even share your content. Maybe they share their content to a community that absolutely does not align with who you are, what you believe, and what you're all about. Just because you got the share doesn't mean it's a quality share. I hope that makes sense. And I know you guys get it, because I mean, you guys are an audience bar none. Nobody compares to the Nez Nation audience. And you're absolutely right, Luis. Yes, Simple Lee. Absolutely. Hashtag Nez Nation. You guys are we. We are all Nez Nation. Nez Nation is a metaphor. It's a symbol for bringing more humanness to this digitalness. Community. Each other. Who are we? What are we doing? What are we all about? How can we come and help each other? How can we come together? Creator Chaos does this. Flash Fam does this. Niminati does this. I'm very lucky and honored to have met so many unbelievable creators who are doing unbelievable things. And it just means the absolute world to me. So defining success, defining your mission statement, defining your purpose, and then defining what is the end that justifies that purpose is really important if you want to be a successful content creator. I don't have 1 million subs. I don't have 1 million shares and likes. I don't have 1,000 concurrent viewers in my live streams, but they're the kind of people, they're the kind of audience that are high quality. And that's, you don't need. And if you do need, I'm not saying that if you do need that there's anything wrong with you, but examine that a little bit. Maybe it's not what you need. So I think taking a look at these things can be scary at times. Taking a look at these things can cause some anxiety. Asking some of these questions might cause you a little bit of anxiety. That's okay. That's natural. That's a part of the process. Yeah, Beth says, I know a lot of creators have complained about their content being added to playlists that they don't want to be on. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Okay, who's ready for number 3? I kind of took them out of order, but who's ready for number 3? Let me know if you're ready for number 3, crucial strategy for content creation success. It's not about views, y'all. It's not about subscribers, y'all. It's not about shares, y'all. It's not about virality. I know a lot of my clients, a lot of channels are making 7 figures a year, and they barely have got, 5,000, 3,000 subscribers. They've barely got, even 1,000 followers on LinkedIn. They barely have a presence. But it's the right kind of presence. It's the right kind of viewer. It's the right kind of client roster or audience or customers. Quality over quantity. If you can do both, fantastic, right? I mean, is there an opportunity to do both? Is it possible to do both? Absolutely. But I would say that the successful content creators, even the ones who have insane numbers, on their channels and insane numbers on their following count, even those individuals, from what I've encountered, from interviewing them, from talking to them, from engaging with them, that's not their primary focus. Luis says, followers, comments, and likes. If you're focusing on that and give up then, this wasn't for you to begin with. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I would say that this is something I don't judge content creators out there, Luis. Luis, I know exactly what you're saying, and you're absolutely right, but I don't judge these content creators who equate that with success. That's what we've been told. That's what we've been told. I mean, there's even this Netflix special. A lot of these Netflix specials, they're propping up these Instagram influencers to this upper echelon, that this is the ideal. This is where you want to go. You want to be as raunchy as you can be. You want to be as controversial as you can be. I mean, look at Jake Paul. I mean, Jake Paul and, Logan Paul, the Paul brothers. I mean, his thing that he did in the Japanese forest, I don't blame him for doing that. It makes total sense that he would do that, because when your sole focus is more and more and more and more and more, it's never enough. When your sole focus is always more, more, more. And then what happens is you start doing things to get that more that get you nothing but trouble. Get you nothing but possibly even kicked off these platforms that we love, that we've met each other, that we've engaged with, especially YouTube, right? Car Galaxy Studio says followers, comments, and likes are what the platform requires. But personal success is different from YouTube success. There are multiple ways to be successful in your everyday life. Very well said, Car Galaxy Studios. I appreciate you immensely. It's so good to see you, man. I'm so glad you're here on the Nez Nation live stream. It means a lot to me. So number three, if you're ready for number 3, give me like an emoji. Give me something unique. Give me a unique emoji in the chat. And just really quickly, while you guys are doing that, if you're watching this elsewhere and you want to be a part of the chat, if you're listening to this on the podcast and you want to be a part of the chat, the Nez Nation family, go to youtube.com/Professor Nez. Come hang out with us. Come be a part of this thriving chat. Come be a part of this amazing live stream family, and hang out with us and talk with us. I'd love to get your comments. I'd love to get your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you have to say about these successful content creators and 4 crucial strategies for that content creation success. Thank you, Neil. I appreciate it. That's exactly the emoji I wanted to see. I really appreciate that. You really know how to make me feel appreciated. You know that? Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Beth. Bring a little reason. Bring a little, you got to be the voice of reason here. I talked about this as well in a previous video that I published last week called How to Handle Change. I'll leave that in the card up above, but you got to go check this video out. I think it was really, really straight to the point, real straight to the point, and real directly to the point. I would love for you to go check out that video. So definitely go check it out. I love it, Neil. You have nothing to worry about. I absolutely love it. So we talked about identifying why you're doing it and then how you define the ends that justify those means of why you're doing it. And then this third thing that I want to talk about, which I kind of took out of order, is what I find that successful content creators focus on, and what I find is a crucial strategy for content creator success, is that successful content creators embrace change. They're willing to take risks, and I want to talk about this. And I'll use myself as an example. About a year and a half ago, most of my videos prior to 2017 had been, or prior to maybe late, actually, might have been late 2018. I can't even remember. My memory's a little froggy. I was doing mostly talking head videos. I was doing mostly live streams and talking head videos, meaning just kind of tutorials or teaching you how to advance your career, get your message out there, how to brand yourself, social media stuff, tech news. Well, not tech news, but mostly kind of branding and messaging news and career advancement and career advice and mindset stuff. Mostly talking head videos. I was kind of getting, as I think most creators can relate to this, I started getting a little bit sort of sick and tired of the same old, same old. I was doing the kind of same old content over and over again. And I decided to try to see if I could tell a story, a cinematic story, AKA a vlog. I was very reticent to call it a vlog because, I mean, it just seemed like, oh God, you're going to vlog now? You're going to really call yourself? You're going to call this thing a vlog? Give me a break, Nez. I felt very apprehensive about the whole idea of me vlogging. But the way that I looked at vlogging was it was this cinematic story told in micro kind of form, right? So it could be long form. I mean, some vlogs are pretty long, but I like the kind of average duration of the vloggers that I enjoyed watching, which the average duration of those videos, which I really consider short cinematic film, because you know every story has a central character that needs to achieve something and experiences some kind of conflict and something that is getting in the way of that protagonist from achieving that thing, and then there's some kind of resolution, right? Or supposed resolution. That's sort of the story arc. And if you're out there right now and you're thinking, man, Nez, I don't even know where to begin on how to vlog or how to tell a story. I have a lot of videos in my playlists, personal branding playlists, that I think would help you with telling stories. And I think storytelling is a huge part of engaging your community and huge part of engaging your audience. But every story has that sort of arc, okay? Being a creative nonfiction writer and a creative writing professor for a very, very long time, I can tell you firsthand, and you can look all this stuff up, the sort of traditional story arc. And there's people like Quentin Tarantino and people like, experimentalists and surrealists and Dadaists who play with that form, or even existentialists who play with that form. But the basic traditional form, and that's the kind of sort of famous arc of the story, right? The hero's journey, so to speak. And I knew I was taking a gamble. I knew I was taking a risk by trying to produce this other content, but I had to do it. If anything, I had to do it for myself. But it wasn't just selfish. I didn't just think about myself. I wanted to create this sort of new form or new medium, if you will, but the content was still the same. In other words, the premise was still the same. It still revolved around mindset. It still revolved around getting your story out there and branding yourself and simplifying your message so you can impact your audience. It still revolved around that, but just the genre changed. And I've got some vlogs that have got thousands of views. I think one's even got over 10,000 views. I was scared to death when I first published that. But at the same time, I knew, maybe scared to death is a little dramatic, but at the same time, I knew that this is something I need to do. And it was super fun to edit the vlogs. It was super fun to splice in the music. And it really brought me back to my days. One of my very first loves was creating home videos on those VHS camcorders when I was a teenager. It really brought me back to those. We used to make kung fu movies as teenagers, me and my friends, and we'd use like little macaroni to make the sound effects of somebody's neck breaking, and it really brought me back to that. We used to like really primitive editing, primitive storytelling, primitive filming, these like VHS beta kind of camcorders when I was a teenager. And it really brought me back to that, and I enjoyed them fully. When I published my first vlog, I think the title of that first vlog was like, I even put vlog question mark if you go look at that. And it's got over 10,000 views, I think. And I'm not, it doesn't matter. The view count doesn't matter. What matters is that I took a risk, I took a gamble, and it was invigorating for me, but I stayed true to my mission. I stayed true to how I defined why I'm doing this. I stayed true to the idea of what I consider success, the notion that I chose to define what I consider success. And my audience didn't think anything of it. My audience did not feel aversion. They did not feel repulsed by this new content that I created. And I love it. And I actually haven't really done a full-fledged vlog in quite some time. I know, Luis, you mentioned that you were really intrigued by the vlogs. Let me know in the chat, especially if you're watching this on the replay, but right now in the live chat, let me know if you want to see more of those from Nez, and I'd love to hear from you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to throw that out to you guys. Let me know if you'd love to hear more of those, see more of those, because I have a lot of fun creating those and editing those and putting them together. And it takes gobs and gobs of man hours of work to do that, but I absolutely love doing it. And so when I say embracing change, when I say really what I really mean is risk-taking, having the gamble in your blood to be like, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try to do something unique. Chris Conkle Vlogs, how in the world are you? Come on in. Good to see you. Embrace that change. Try different things. Don't be afraid that your audience is going to feel that you're doing something that's not, you're going to lose subs because you're doing something that's not aligned with your channel's theme. Don't be afraid of that. Here's how you do it. You create different forms of content. Embrace change, different types of content. But the premise, the underlying thread is continuous and consistent throughout. So in other words, if your channel is predominantly, like, let's just take Charlie for example, Midnight Madness. If your channel is predominantly something around monster trucking or auto or what have you, and all of a sudden you do a vlog about you examining the different types of fertilizers that will make your grass grow. First of all, that might be kind of interesting, actually. I mean, that just kind of came off the top of my head. But I don't know, something that's the antithesis of what your channel theme or is about. Yeah, that might cause you to lose subs, because when people are subscribing to your channel or people are following you, they're voting, right? They're committing to your content. They're committing that this is what I want, this is what I expect, and this is the reason I'm subscribing, is because this is the kind of content that I see this individual or brand or business creating, and I want more of that. They're taking their vote. It's a vote when they subscribe to you. So, don't be afraid to mix up your content. Don't be afraid to change it up. Don't be afraid to vlog if you're predominantly a talking head creator or a live streamer. Don't be afraid to create cinematic micro content if you're somebody who's not used to doing that. Try different things. Yes, exactly. Let's see here. Beth says, phone voice, being that tone you use when you answer the phone at work. Okay. Neil says, yeah, Quentin is weird, but I don't say I love. I mean, I think we can talk about Quentin some other time, but I do think that he kind of does the same thing. He has a definite common thread in different kind of iterations. Beth says, this is a great point. Pivoting seems to really scare a lot of creators, even though so many successful people have done it seamlessly. Yes, thank you, Beth. That's absolutely right. Michael Daniels, where have you been all my life, Michael Daniels? It's so good to see you, Michael Daniels. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. And, let that be a sort of nudge to the rest of you cheapsters out there to, hey, pony up, will you? No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. That's a joke. I got kids to feed, 2 of them. Oh, okay, who does that sound like? Thank you so much, Michael Daniels. It's great to see you. Super Dave, where in the world have you been? Oh, yes. I've gone live early. Yeah, I apologize. My kid's got a baseball game at 2, and actually at 2:30, so I got to get cooking here. I got to get going soon. Chris needs to get overlaid. Yes, he does. Chris said, I thought Professor Nez only went live on Facebook. Where have I been? Oh, you know what? Yeah, Chris, welcome back to the foray, my friend. I have pretty much moved my entire live stream podcast show onto YouTube. And so that's where I've really taken the show. That's where I've really taken everything for a lot of different reasons. So please feel free. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, look at this. You ask and you shall receive. Wow, is it really that easy? Come on, y'all. Break out those pocketbooks. Break out your wallets, will you? I want to see those wallets sing right now. I'm totally teasing. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Crypto, for the £4.99. I really appreciate that. That's a lie, Michael. And thank you, Chris Conkle Vlogs. Wow, I really appreciate that, Chris. Thank you so much. $10 super chat. Chris, you are amazing. I super appreciate that. Thank you so much for that $10 super chat. That's really, really appreciative. Prashant says, it's all about testing things out and what you feel works for you. Aha. So that's really, really important too. I use both sometimes, Prashant. So sometimes I'll use a camera. Sometimes I'll use just my iPhone. Because here's another thing too, and just going back to what Modern Day Tech was talking about. I don't know if Eric is still in the house, but just going back to what Modern Day Tech was talking about, when, it's about the execution, or it's not about the ideas, it's about the doing of it, and doing it faster and quicker and more voluminously. I would say that has a lot to do with the overthinking aspect of it. And so here's a real kind of testament, Prashant. You don't need fancy schmancy tech. You don't need a fancy microphone. You don't need fancy lighting. The camera, especially if you've got like the new Galaxy or the new Pixel, the iPhone still has a great camera. I am an iPhone user, but you have everything you need in your pocket to create content. This show, if anything, I want to absolutely inflame your chest. I want to absolutely ignite your belly and get you cooking on the concept of creating without the stifling thought that, well, I don't have the right camera, or, well, I don't have a Canon 50D like Casey Neistat, or I don't have the fancy lighting or audio equipment, or maybe do I need a production team, or look at the microphone that these dudes and dudettes use. You don't need any of that stuff. You don't need any of that stuff. Everything that you need it's really all about the message. The message is the most important thing. No amount of tech, okay? No amount of tech is going to fix a crappy message, okay? But there's also no amount of tech that can really diminish a beautiful message, right? Now, let me fix that for a second. Because yes, you absolutely can have bad audio, and yes, you absolutely can have terrible lighting, and yes, you could have poor connection, which God knows I've gone through that before, and terrible lagging, which I don't think we've had, knock on wood. Did you hear that? That was actual wood. I think we've had a pretty great connection so far. Yes, but and if you're going to invest in tech, especially when you're just starting out, or especially if tech is not your thing, there's so many easy remedies that you can find online. A simple mic, a simple audio tool, a simple lighting kit. Simple, simple, simple. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate. Keep it simple. Look at that, Prashant. Thank you so much. Have a drink tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Prashant. I hope you're getting a lot of value. You know what to do when you're coming in. You got to smash the like button. Smash that smash button. I really, really appreciate it. It's great to see you, Michael Daniels. Awesome stuff. Yes. Don't worry about it, Hybrid. Are you kidding me? Don't even worry about it. Creator Chaos with the $1.99. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We all love you, Brian. I think I know the reference. I've got 2 kids. I've got kids. I've got 2 of them. No poodles. Patty Broussard, do all my filming with my phone. Yeah, I do 90% of my filming with my phone. I mean, not right now, but when I go out and do my kind of mobile, outdoor running around kind of filming, I definitely, I'm going to be late to his baseball game. I definitely use minimalist tech. You don't need fancy schmancy. You don't. I would actually say, this is where I agree with some of the bigger YouTubers out there. I would actually say that the one thing that would probably hurt your message more than anything else is definitely audio. I think if you have pretty good audio, and when I say pretty good audio, keep that very, very minimal as well, and keep that very, very simple as well. You can get really good quality lav mics or little plugins for your mobile devices on Amazon for under $25, under $30. Okay, I still haven't invested in the. I want to invest in the new Shure MV88 with the video kit, because I do like to do so much on-the-go shooting with my mobile device, but I'm thinking about investing in that. It's a pretty heavy investment. I think it's a couple $100, but it looks so cool at CES, or I think it was London CES. I can't remember which conference it was, and I can't remember who I saw that was doing it. Some tech channel was doing was on site. I think it was London CES. We got some Londonites in the house. Maybe you guys could confirm for us, and some tech channels in the house here, Luis and others. Maybe you could tell us. Maybe you could tell us if that was London CES. But anyway, I might want to get that audio mic. But keep it very, very simple. That's all you need to do. But good audio can go a very, very long way. And by the way, if you have really good audio, you can strip that audio and just plug it into a podcast. And that's another great way to get your message out there, right? That's another great way to get presence, online reputation. Voice is a huge thing, y'all, right now. And voice is just only going to go one way. It's going to go up, up, and up. So I would say that, and I just want to wrap this kind of part of the conversation up. I would say that is something that you should probably, if there is some tech that you should invest in audio. Okay, let's see here. So we talk about, smash that like button. That's right, smash it up. Thank you guys so much for the super chat. You guys rock my world. Love you guys. So we talked about identifying why it is what you're doing. We talked about defining success accurately. We talked about embracing change, taking risks. As long as the premise of your content is aligned with your brand, is aligned with your purpose, feel free to experiment with different formats, different mediums, different genres. Vlog a little bit more. Maybe if you're primarily a vlogger, try doing some live streams. Engage. I mean, live streaming is awesome. It's a great way for community management. If you're doing primarily live streams, try to do maybe a couple of talking heads or try to do maybe a couple of interviews. Mix up your content, mix it up a little bit, and watch what happens. I think you're going to not only stay more interested as a creator, because creators are naturally chameleonic by nature. We change and we evolve, and we need to keep ourselves interested. We need to keep ourselves inspired, because if you're not inspired, it's going to come through. It's going to come through. We've seen it a million times before. I can tell when you're going through the motions. I can tell when you don't believe in what you're talking about. I can tell when you're just doing this for all the wrong reasons. I'm not here to judge. The last thing I want to do on this planet is judge anybody. I am the least judgmental dude out there. Even the people that I joke around with, you know, and kind of roast and say things about, and even I talk crap too, you know, but it's not serious. You know, even the people I talk crap on, and believe me, there's people I talk crap on. It's not serious, because I know one unencumbered, irrefutable truth about being a human being. Everybody don't forget this. I want you all to look at me right now. Look at me right now in the chat. Look at me right now if you're watching this, listening to this. Even if you're listening to this, I want you to look at me. Okay, maybe that doesn't make any sense. There is one irrefutable truth about being a human being on this planet. There is one irrefutable truth. Nobody knows what they're doing. Everybody's just doing the best that they can. Period. Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? I can't judge another person. I can't judge another human being. I'm nobody. How can I judge somebody, right? I've got so many of my own little peccadillos, my own transgressions, my own flaws, my own faults. So I don't judge you at all. I don't judge you content creators when I say you're doing it for all the wrong reasons, right? Who am I? Trust the inner professor. There is no professor greater than the professor inside your chest. Not Professor Nez, no other professor. The greatest professor on earth is life. The greatest professor on earth is inside your chest. Not this dude inside your head. That dude's trouble. That dude's drama for your mama. But the dude inside your chest, that's the dude you should trust. So, you know, don't take that seriously when I say, or at least seriously when I say you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. Identify, be aware, be alert, understand the whole purpose of personal branding, which equates to 21st century communications. The whole purpose is to better understand each other. We're bringing more humanness to this digitalness. What's the point of bringing humanness to this? So we can understand each other better. If you understand each other better, you avoid stress. And stress is the #1 killer, y'all. Whether you like it or not, stress is the #1 killer. Cancer, okay? Ebola, heart disease, neurological disease, right? Rheumatoid arthritis, they all thrive on inflammation. Inflammation is the root cause of all of our health problems. You know what the #1 cause of inflammation is? Stress. So if we better understand each other, we can avoid stress. If you avoid stress, what happens to your life? It gets longer, first of all. I hope that makes sense. Super Dave, how are you? It's so great. Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate you a lot, man. Thank you so much for being here. It really means a lot to me. Patty says, I'm getting closer and closer to doing that live streaming. Yes. Should play everything nicely, crossing fingers. What's stopping you, Patty Broussard? I would love to hang out on your live stream. What's stopping you? Don't overthink it. Don't fear the unexpected. Don't fear the unknown. There's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with the beautiful thing about live streaming. Here's for all you content creators out there who are thinking about live streaming. The beautiful thing about live streaming is that live streaming, if there's any form of content that embraces imperfection more, it's live streaming because it's live. It's real time. I make a goof out of myself all the time. I make a fool out of myself all the time, probably predominantly, for crying out loud. Right? I mean, with all these catchphrases, hasta la pasta and holy macadamia nut and all that stuff. I mean, you know, I'm just being me, you know, I'm just being me in all my flaws and all my terrible glory. I'm just being Nez. And yeah, does it hurt, right? When I get reactions, does it hurt when I get comments or when I get dislikes or when I get this or that? Of course it does, because it hurts all of us, right? We're human beings. It hurts, but it don't stick. And that's the difference. That's what Aristotle meant when he said self-awareness is mastery. That's what he meant when you become a master, when you know who you are, neither friend nor foe can touch you. Doesn't mean you don't still get hurt. You're going to get hurt, but you're invincible. I've got videos on this stuff all over my channel. Go check them out. I'll leave them up here in the card. Go check out those videos. I got videos all about this. If you know who you are, doesn't mean you're not going to be human and you're not going to be affected, but stuff don't stick. It's when it sticks. It's when it constantly, you know, chronologically takes over everything in your life and you're dwelling and you're drowning in dwelling. That's when things go bad. That's when bad boogie shows up. Patty live would be awesome. I'd love to see you live. Chesty Professor. Hashtag Chesty Professor. That's terrible. That sounds so bad. In all the good ways, though. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Car, you should do it too, man. I'd love to see you live, Car. Hybrid, yes, absolutely. Creator Chaos is one of the most fun, awesome live streams out there. What you're doing over there, Neil, big kudos. What you guys are doing over there, I absolutely love it. I try to make that live stream more than any other, even more than Niminati, to be honest, at this point. I really try to make that. If you have not checked out, if you haven't joined a Creator Chaos, go subscribe. Feel free, Neil, to leave the link in the chat. And I'll leave the link to the, I'll leave a link to your channel. I'll leave a link to your channel down below, Neil. But yes, Tuesday live streams. I believe it's 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Am I correct, Neil? Creator Chaos. It's one of the most fun, loose, cool, informative, valuable live streams out there. Okay, I'm getting the message that I got to get things cooking here. So last thing that I want to say before we get out of here is consistency. I don't think that really goes without saying. I think it can go without saying, but yes, consistency is absolutely huge. And the reason that I think it's so poignant that it comes last, the number 4 thing, consistency, is because if you don't know your mission, if you haven't defined success accurately, and you really haven't embraced change, it's going to be very difficult to be consistent. But we all know new keeps our audience engaged. It tells our audience, it even tells Google, the more you post new stuff on YouTube, the more you post new stuff on your website, Google indexes that as a very active account, a very active website, a very active YouTube channel, a very active what have you. Most of the algorithms recognize this. Consistency tells not only the algorithm, but it tells your audience that you're somebody who cares, you're somebody who's still doing this, you're executing this, you're current, you're up to date. Nobody likes up to date and current more than people who consume content. So consistency is absolutely huge. Yes. Yeah, thank you, Neil. Yeah, we are all chaos, and chaos is always watching. That sounded a little bit freaky right there. I like that. I like that. I think the queen just arrived. Who's the queen? The queen? Oh, my wife? Yeah, my wife is definitely the queen. Yeah, I gotta get cooking. I gotta get rolling. It's getting late over here too. But just to wrap up, just really quickly, I want to just wrap up. So, number one, we talked about identifying what is your purpose, what is your mission statement for becoming a content creator. Number two, I think I lost the list. Number two was defining success. Really asking the hard questions. Why am I doing this? What is the purpose of me creating content? What is it that I want to get out of this? What is the result of creating this content that I actually desire and that would actually make me happy and actually make me want to continue, right? Number three is to embrace, have the audacity to try different things. Don't create the same content over and over and over again. Now, I kind of contradict myself with number four because I say consistency, but the consistency doesn't always mean the same exact type of content all the time. If you see my channel as an example, I try to mix it up. I talk a lot about mindsetting, messaging, social media, and tech news. I do vlogs. I do talking head. I do, a lot of stuff on different platforms. I try to mix it up. Mixing it up is actually a beautiful thing to do, and staying consistent. Consistent doesn't mean you have to post every single day, but I would say on average, if I was to add a quantifiable metric to consistency, I would say at least, and just to kind of honor YouTube here, I would say at least one video a week, at least, or at least a couple videos, 2-3 videos a month, 2 videos a month at the bare minimum. Is it going to be the end of the world if you don't produce 2 a month? No, but I think consistency on that level really will create a strong presence, a strong reputation, a strong brand, and it lets your audience know that you're definitely still in this and you're definitely doing the do, and you want to continue and you want to make sure that you're serving them on a consistent basis. That's a fantastic way of doing it. I love you. I don't know if you know this or not, but I absolutely love y'all so much. If you haven't smashed that smash button, make sure you have. If you haven't hit that giant subscribe button, make sure you do, because we go live. I don't know what the hell that just was, but who's ready for an overlay? Because I could smell it in the air. There's an overlay alert happening here. Who's ready for an overlay? It's overlay time. It's overlay time. You see it down there. There it is. Every single Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, except for today, of course, and 5 p.m. Eastern, Nez Nation Live, the Personal Branding 101 podcast live stream show. Talking about mindset and messaging, helping you to simplify your message, clarify who you are so you can reach the right audience. We're bringing more humanness to this digitalness. I absolutely love y'all. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you guys next time. It really means the absolute world to me that you're here. I want to thank Brad. I want to thank Patty, Super Dave, Charlie. Thank you so much, Brad, Beth, Chris Conkle. I hope to see more of you, dude. Thank you, Car Galaxy. Car, I want to see more of you too. Prashant, thank you so much for being here. Neil, Crypto Cruising. Awesome to see you. Hybrid Steel, it's great to see you as always. Gerald Wade, I want to see more of you, Gerald. Come on in, come on in. And everybody else that I'm forgetting, I really, really appreciate you. Michael Daniels, thank you so much for being here. Beth, thank you so much for being here. It really means the world to me that you guys show up, that you guys hang out with us. You are the ones who make this live stream what it is. You guys are the ones who keep me invigorated, who inspire me. I am here at your behest. I am here to serve you. So make sure you click that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification so every time we go live, you get that beautiful banner notification and you can come hang out with us and be here on time and be VIP. And also, don't ever forget, if you have anything that you desire from Nez, okay, almost anything, let's keep this to content related. Other stuff we may have to discuss. If you ever have anything that you're like, Nez, it would be cool if you could do a video on this. It'd be cool if you could talk on this topic or this subject. Anything at all related to what my channel is all about, which is pretty much mindset and messaging, helping you to discover your purpose, communicate your message, so you can impact the right audience. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know down below. I would really, really appreciate it. It would mean the absolute world to me. And you guys know me, I deliver. A lot of my videos are based on your questions, are based on your challenges, your struggles. I'm here to serve, and it's all free, for the love of God. Nez Nation Live, we are out. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks, guys.